छाये भजस्य भुवनानि विभूति दुर्गा इच्छानुरूपमसि यस्य च चेष्टते सा गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजा चिरं यथा दतिविका विशेषयोगात् संजायते नहि ततः पृथगस्ति हेतुः जह सम्भुतामपि तथा समुपैति कार्यात् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि दीपार्चिरे वहि दशान्तरमभ्युपेत दीपायते विवृत हेतु समान धर्म जस्तादृग वै च विष्णुतया विभाति गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यः करणार्णव जले भजति स्म जोग निद्रामनंत जगदण्डरोमकूप आधार शक्तिमवलम्ब परः समूर्तिं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि जस्यैकनिश्वसितमथावलम्ब जीवन्ति लोमविलजा जगदण्डनाथः विष्णुर्महान् सह्यजस्य सकला विशेषो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि भास्सञ्जतस्म सकलेषु निजेषु तेजः श्रियं कियत् प्रकटतयत्यपि यद्वत् अत्र ब्रह्मा जयेश जगदण्डविधानकर्ता गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यत्पादपल्लवयुगं विनिधाय कुम्भ दन्दे प्रणाम समये सगणाधिराजः विघ्नान् विहन्तुमलमस्य जगत्त्रयस्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तम् अग्निर्महि गगनम्बुमरुद्दिशश्च कालस्तथात्ममनसिति जगत्त्रयानि यस्मान् भवन्ति विभवन्ति विसन्ति यं च गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यच्चक्षुरेश सविता सकलग्रहाणां राजा समस्तमूर्ति अशेषतेजः यस्याज्ञया भ्रमति संभृतकालचक्रो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं धर्मो अथ पापनिचयः श्रुतयस्तपांसि ब्रह्मादिकीटपतकावधयश्च जीवः यद्दत्तमात्र विभव प्रकट प्रभाव गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं जस्तीन्द्रगोपमथवेन्द्रमहो सकर्म बन्धानुरूपं फलभाजनमातनोति कर्मा निर्दहति किन्तु च भक्तिभाजां गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यं क्रोधकामसहजप्रणयादिभीति वात्सल्यमोह गुरुगौरवसेभ्यभावै सञ्चिन्ततस्य सदृशिं तनुमापुरेते गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि श्री गुरवे श्री गौरचंद्राय सपरिकर युगल किशोराय च ब्रजधामाय पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्राय राधावनाय च नमो नमः वृंदायै तुलसी देव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः। एक साथ हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ये कमरे के बाहर एक बात तो किया कि नहीं किया? मैं कर रहा हूँ थोड़ी देर। मैं सबसे पहले अस्मदीय परमाराध्य गुरुपाद पद्म ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस स्वामी अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति वेदांत श्रील वामन गोस्वामी महाराज Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Swami Astokara Sata Sri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Srila Narayan Goswami Maharaj এবং সমস্ত গুরুবর্গকে শ্রীচরণों में अनंत कोटि साष्टांग दंडवत प्रणति ज्ञापन करता हूँ। तदनंतर उपस्थित श्री नरसिंह महाराज समस्त वैष्णव एवं वैष्णवियों को यथायथ।
Am I audible to you, Hare Krishna?
हम लोग
Yes, Prabhu.
माधुर्य कादम्बिनी ग्रंथ से निष्ठा एवं निष्ठा के लक्षण के विषय में आलोचना कर रहे थे, जिसमें लय, विक्षेप, अप्रतिपत्ति, कसाय रसाद न हो, तब समझे निष्ठा हुआ, निष्ठिता भक्ति हुई है। उसमें नष्ट प्रायेषु अभद्रेषु, इस श्लोक के द्वारा हम लोग इसका विशद आलोचना किया था। कसाय भी हम लोग आलोचना और साथ साथ विषय सुख उत्पन्न होने के समय श्रवण कीर्तन आदि में मन लगना ही रसास्वाद कहलाता है। कोई साधक है, उसमें कुछ मन में विषय सुख उदित हुआ,
We were discussing
जीव होने के कारण
from Madhurya Kadambini.
जो मणिमय विषय,
We were discussing the symptoms of Nishtha,
जैसे मैंने
Lay, Vikshepa, Apratipatti, Kasai.
इसको ऐसे करूंगा, ऐसे
So when these symptoms are not there, that means that
मन लगा
Nishtha is there. So by taking the basis of Nashtam Prayeshu Abhadreshu Shloka, we discussed about these different symptoms.
जहाँ कृष्ण तहाँ नहीं माया,
That when material happiness, material enjoyment comes,
और माया अंधकार है,
that even one has material enjoyment, still one's mind is getting absorbed in Harikatha.
कि रस को आस्वादन
That in the heart of a sadhaka practitioner, material enjoyment comes. Sadhak is a baddha jiva, he's a conditioned soul. At that particular time, his mind is tasting that material pleasure in his mind, just like someone wants to bring someone down. So he's becoming angry or he's becoming happy that, okay, I'm gonna bring this person's downfall, or I'm gonna teach this person a lesson. So
स्मरण में
because he is enjoying the material rasa. So Krishna is like a Surya. Krishna is like a sun. So wherever Krishna is there, Maya cannot be there. Krishna is like a sun. Maya is dense darkness. So wherever there is Krishna, Maya cannot be there. So when one is tasting the material enjoyment of this world, then the Chit Jagata, the transcendental name, Leela, one would not be able to absorb their mind in that because he is conditioned. Because when one becomes perfected, then it's different. But because of the conditioned state,
एक ही मन है,
the Baddha Jiva, the conditioned soul, he enjoys the material world thinking that this is the topmost of happiness. So
ईश्वर की आराधना,
so whenever the material happiness, material thoughts come at that particular time, one should engage, even if one tries, by engaging themselves in Harikatha and chanting, one would not be able to uh, attain any rasa because mind is one.
दिखाए लोग
Gopi is saying, Udhoji, our mind is not 10, 20, it's only one.
हम बैठे हैं,
Udho,
नहीं है।
our mind is one.
This is the index
Krishna
of
was sent, Uddhavji was sent by Krishna to give instruction to the gopis to
आप लोग
meditate and remember Krishna in meditation. But gopis are saying, Uddhavji, our mind is only one, not 10 or 20. That particular mind, only one mind which is being stolen by Krishna. So when the mind is being stolen by Krishna,
क्या चिंता कर रहे हैं,
now you're telling us that we must worship, must meditate upon the impersonal Brahma. So how would we be able to? Or meditate on the form of Krishna, sorry. How would we be able to do? Because our mind is being stolen by him. We are conditioned soul. When our mind is absorbed in material sense enjoyment, we would not be able to absorb our mind in bhajan. Yeah, yet we are showing that we're sitting in Harikatha, but then mind is thinking about the material enjoyment. And just for demonstration, we are sitting and hearing, but the mind is not here. Face is the index of mind, as is a very famous saying. Either by face one can know what's happening inside.
गुण का कार्य
All
है।
of you cannot see each other's face, but I can sense just by seeing everybody's face.
कहते हैं अनर्थ निवृत्ति के पश्चात ही
So some people are sitting, you
तमोगुण
know, no one knows what they're thinking, but then just by the expression of their face, I can tell what's happening inside. So this is rasas.
गुण एवं तमोगुण का हृदय
This is the action of mode of passion. So previous rasasai, rasakshai,
बधाई
and
देते हैं।
krodha, lobh, and moha, the anger, illusion,
उत्पत्ति कसाय रसा
and greed, which comes from previous sanskars. I gave the example.
निष्ठा के
There
स्वरूप
is an impression of lobh, moha, means greed and illusion. And this is an action of not of the mode of goodness. This is an action. This is the mode of passion. Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, after the removal of all the anarthas, then in the heart of the sadhaka,
रसा
then
देता है।
then raja and tama, the mode of passion and ignorance, still in the heart of a practitioner, still the mode of ignorance and passion may still be there because of sanskar.
और विजय प्राप्त कर लो, शत्रु को जीत लो,
Just like
तुम्हारा
just
है
like in
लेकिन
anarthavastha, in
कर पाएगा।
the five types of obstacles which come: lay, vikshep, apratipatti, kasai, rasaswad. These five types of obstacles are there.
महाराज भीम अर्जुन नकुल सहदेव को चार दिशा में भेजा।
At the time of nishtha,
अब जब उन
when,
लोगों
when,
से
when even when one has nishtha, these obstacles are there, but then they would be in a sleeping state. They cannot harm the sadhaka. These anarthas would still be there, but in a sleeping state. Before nishtha, they are alive and active. They definitely harm the practitioner. But then after nishtha, these obstacles are still there, but then still they can't harm. For instance, there's an enemy, and an enemy would try to hurt or be very harmful. But then if you're able to conquer the enemy, even if the enemy is living in the kingdom, still the enemy cannot harm because one has conquered them. For example, the Pandavas, Yudhishthira, Bhim, Nakul, Sahadev, he sent Pandavas wanted to perform the Rajasuya Yagya. So when
रजस्तम काम लोभ ये
so
सब दूर हो जाता है।
so when all those kings could not defeat the Pandavas, they accepted them as their king. So at that particular time, all of these kings were conquered by the Pandavas. So they were living in the kingdom, but then they could not bother. Similarly, all these obstacles, as I've been mentioning for the past few days, before Nishtha, these obstacles would prove to be harmful. But then after but then after Nishtha, though they would still they stay in the heart of a sadhaka practitioner, but then it would not harm anyone. It would not harm the practitioner. So
अब
at that
हम
particular time,
एक के बाद दूसरे में अधिक आने के नाम लॉय, ये लॉय
so at that particular time, greed, anger, lust, all this is removed at that time. It's not there anymore. Sorry.
संपर्क विक्षेप कहते हैं। फिर अप्रतिपत्ति
But still there is incapability to accept, incapability to perform kirtan. While singing kirtan, we forget the lines, or we are hearing, we are not able to absorb ourselves in hearing. So when and kasai means when lust, greed, anger, these six enemies, especially anger, greed, and illusion, when they appear at the time of hearing, and then when material happiness arises in the heart and one is not able to engage themselves in the absorption of harikatha. So these five type of obstacles, if these five types of obstacles are not there, then one is called at the stage of nishtha.
पांच प्रकार की जो बाधा है, ये पांच प्रकार बाधा यदि नहीं हो तब कहा गया निष्ठा। बताया न जस्य चित्तम बहिरर्थ विभ्रमम तमो
In Srimad
गुहायां
Bhagavatam, it
च
is mentioned 4.24.59. Bhagavan Rudra, in glorification of Bhagavan Rudra, in glorification of Lord Shiva, it is mentioned that by the association of satsanga, by the mercy of satsanga, and
हे प्रभु
by your bhakti yoga, when a human being's heart becomes completely purified, then
आपके
even the
के
external
द्वारा
factors cannot bewilder anyone. Uh, this is
विषय
because of the
बताया
association of satsanga.
ये सत्संग महिमा दिखा रहे रुद्र करे भगवान से ये भी सत्संग की महिमा है सत्संग के कारण
Rudradev is saying, hey Prabhu, by the practice of satsanga, when once
रुद्रदेव
and
का
by the mercy of bhakti, then one's mind does not go in uh, subject matters which are not connected to bhakti, and one does not enter into the cave of mode of
नहीं
ignorance, because this is the fruit of satsanga, fruit of harikatha, fruit of associating with the sadhus.
नहीं
So
करता
in
है
this shloka
सत्संग के फल से
mentioned about that lay, vikshape, all these five obstacles in this particular shloka, it is mentioned that how
में
mind is completely free from from of all these five obstacles.
के बारे
Sakshat
में
bhakti
बताया
vishayini anugul bhakti vishayini. Now we're moving on to the next topic. Sakshat bhakti vishayini means Vishnu Chakravarti is giving a direct uh, interaction
भक्ति
of bhakti, just like by body, by mind, by words,
में
and
हैं
by mind.
जैसे
This is
शरीर के द्वारा काई की
so nishtha
वाची
is of three types. Kaiki means by body, Vashiki means by words, one is nishtha, Manasi means by my mind. So the three types
काई
of
की
nishtha also. Now
काई
Vishnu
की
Chakravarti is also explaining Sakshat Bhakti Vishayini. What is Kaiki? What is by body nishtha? That one hears Harikatha. Why? Because because by hearing Bhagavan, Bhagavan becomes happy.
क्या है
Bhakti Thakur says, Sunaha
वो
Nij
कथा
Gunagan,
क्यों
that hear his own glories.
करने पर भगवान
When we
प्रसन्न
hear
होते हैं
the Harikatha of the Lord, then through the ear, medium of the ear, Lord enters in the heart. Pravishta Karanarandrindrena Swana Abhav Saroham.
कान के माध्यम से साधक के हृदय में प्रवेश करते हैं इसलिए बताया प्रविष्ट कर्ण
Picking tulsi leaves.
सरोरुहम
There is a rule how to pluck tulsi, not like we just break first we have to pray Vrindaya Tulsi Devya Priyaya Keshavasacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavattai Namo Namah. We pray like this to her. And with this mantra we pay pranams to her first, and then we pray to Tulsi Devi that hey Tulsi, that I am going to pluck one leaf of yours for the service of Thakurji.
तुलसी मैं ठाकुर जी सेवा के लिए आप तोड़ रहा हूँ बताया कि तुलसी जन मंत्र की तुलसामृत नामासी सदातंक सब
Hey
प्रिय
Tulsi, you are like Tulsi.
झप करे की
Tulsi
बोलते
Amrit
खाली
Namasi. You are
अमृत
very,
नाम
very dear to Krishna.
तुलसी अमृत सब अमृत के नाम
Krishna cannot
समान
live
है
without you.
सदातंक के प्रिय आप
You're
शिव
always there at
समर्पित
the feet of Krishna,
करके कृष्ण
and then while
आप रहते लिपटे करके
so Tulsi is always
बैठे
associating with Krishna all the time.
तुलसी
Keshavarthe.
पानी आदि गोस्वामी
For the
तुलसी
service of Keshav, I'm picking
सबसे
you.
प्रिय केशव
So hey
अर्थ
Tulsi
क्षमा
Devi, you please be merciful to me and give me the benediction.
वरदान भव शोभन
And then Shama
केशव में
Pratna Mantra, when we ask forgiveness from Tulsi ji, because when we pluck the flower, so Pujari does not even know.
क्षमा
Shaino
प्रार्थना
Bhavada
मंत्र
Dukkansha. All these are shlokas when we pick up Tulsi, and then we also
जाए
offer one mantra to pay pranams to
क्रोध
her, asking forgiveness, because we have sharp nails. And then
सत्संग
Shaino Bhav,
जन्मा देवी नमस्तुते, जब हम तोड़ते हैं नाखून से इसे लगता है, चयनोद्भव दुखंच,
So, hey Jagat Kalyani, hey, merciful to the entire. First, we pay pranams to her. Then we take, when we chant a mantra, to pick the leaf, and then we also ask forgiveness after. So we should not also pick the leaves on certain days.
और सब दिन तुलसी
And at
नहीं
what
तोड़ना
time we
चाहिए,
should not pick up tulsi leaves.
और सब दिन तोड़ सकते हो, और किस समय
I've also mentioned this shloka many times. We should have watched, I've given a
और
shloka
कोई
also, but
कोई बार श्लोक भी बताया,
he's he's a Gurudev, is a sannyasi, so he should know the shlokas. Why should we know the shlokas?
গুরুদেব সন্ন্যাসী, আমিও সন্ন্যাসী তখন দেখাবো, আচ্ছা আমার যখন এমনই করবো না, ওই ডান্ডা ঘুরাবে লেগেছে হাড়িতে, আর হাড়ি ভেঙে পড়ে ধপ ধপ করে লোককে মারে, কুমারের ধমাধম পিটিয়ে দিল। बताया पूर्णिमाया समायांच पूर्णिमाया अमावस्यांच संक्रमे तैलभंगे तथा स्नात मध्याह्ने निशि संध्यायो
At
असत्य
that particular
संकट
time, in our times, we did not have any books, no recordings. But nowadays, there's so many things. Still, we're not able to remember these shlokas. On the day of Purnima, on the day of Amavasya,
याद किया
on Dwadashi, on Sankranti, on Sunday,
दिन
while applying body oil on one's body, while without bathing in the afternoon time,
रविवार
after sun sets, during the evening time, night time, we should not,
दोपहर के
and then
समय
at the time of impure,
निशा में
while lamenting,
संध्या में
and
विवाह
then
के
those cloth which we wear in the night, and if we wear the same cloth and we pick the leaves, then
रात्रि
it's like
होते हैं परंतु
it's like hitting Krishna, hitting on Krishna's head.
ऐसे
But
करने
on the
पर
day of Purnima, Amavasya,
हरे सिरा
Sankranti, Sunday,
दशावन अपराध है,
all these,
लेकिन बताया
if we can pick it up for the service of Krishna.
संक्रांति
But on the day of Dwadashi, we cannot even pick it
सब
for Krishna's service. Or we can use the dry leaves, or we can pick it a day before.
से
However, by applying oil on the body
उसे
and then in an impure state,
सूखे से काम चलाओ,
just like Grihastas in his home,
में तेल लगा करके
they have suit like when someone leaves body or someone takes birth, at that time they're in an impure state.
से लोग
And then wearing those clothes which one is wearing in the night, one should not pick tulsi leaves. Whether it's a Matavasi or Grihast, this applies to everybody.
और रात के पहने कपड़े
Tulsi is
से
very, very dear to Krishna. Tulsi Chayana. How to pick up Tulsi?
ये
So
सब लिए
there are many ways to chant the holy name. One can chant with the beads of lotus, one can chant on Rudraksha and also on Tulsi. Those who are the devotees of Shiva, they chant name on the Rudraksha mantra. And other devotees of Krishna, Vishnu Bhakta, they chant
जो लोग शिव के
on
हैं लोग रुद्राक्ष से करते
the seed of the lotus.
हैं, और ऐसे
The seed
साधारण
of the lotus, one can chant on that. They can make a mala, and also on Tulsi ji.
कमल के बीज
Amongst all this, Tulsi is very, very dear. So it's very, very dear to Krishna.
और तुलसी इन
Kamal
सब
and Rudraksha are not dear to Krishna. So we chant on Tulsi Mala. The Lord becomes very pleased with that.
रुद्राक्ष को
Therefore, by when we pick Tulsi Katha and hearing Bhagavad Katha,
कृष्ण
these
से
are like direct interaction of
तुलसी से
actions of bhakti. So Vidyantim Bhavati means amongst all the literature, such the topmost is Bhagavatam. Amongst all the literature, Bhagavatam is the
विद्या का
topmost. So when we say Bhagavatam, Shravan, so all those scriptures, Mahaprabhu Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Charitamrita,
वर्णन
we,
करने पर
you know, we are also very, very, uh,
इसके
we, we must also study those scriptures too. But topmost is Srimad Bhagavatam, Mala Granthan,
और इनके अनुगत
to make Mala for Thakurji.
सर्वश्रेष्ठ
Because
भागवत।
Thakurji likes mala. Krishna has two types of mala. One is one mala, the forest flower. The other one is Vaijanti mala, and mala which is made of five types of flowers
तरह की माला है।
from neck
भगवान
hanging till the knee.
पांच
Say the
प्रकार
names of five children. Five, not five children, five flowers.
ये गले से लेके पैर तक लटका हुआ। ये फूल का नाम बोलो। बेनू अब बोलो तुम अब। हाँ तीन टा तो बोले छिले बोलो। सैम मालती नहीं माधवी, उस दिन मालती बोला था तुम। आम्र अशोक मल्लिका माधवी गोकुल।
Making mala for Krishna is also a direct limbs of bhakti. Archan doing deity worship is Archan is also five types, 10 types. There's 16 types of paraphernalias which are used. 10 types of paraphernalias are used. We perform dandavat to Krishna.
वचन है
This is also a direct limb of bhakti.
जी को दंडवत करना। कोई करते पहले शंखा पूर्वक नाम गान नति भी काला बसानी कृतो
Vande Rupa Sanatana.
विजितो चातंत दीनौ चतो राधा कृष्ण गुण स्मृते
Our
मधुरिमानंदे
Goswamis and our Guru Varga, they also performed
अनादि
offer Dandavat Pranam, Parikrama, doing Parikrama. We perform Tulsi Parikrama, Parikrama of the temple. All these are direct limbs of bhakti. These are direct limbs of bhakti. Mandir
मंदिर
Marjan, cleaning the temple.
परिक्रमा
This all falls in the category of uh,
साक्षात
worship of actions which are being done by the body. Then Vachiki, by
कायिकी
vachan, by words.
शारीरिक साक्षात भक्ति विषयनी
By words, one chants the name of the Lord.
वचन के द्वारा। वचन के द्वारा क्या है? भगवान के नाम नाम कीर्तन।
In Kali Yuga, only Harinam is the only remedy.
युग केवल
Only Harinam, there's nothing else.
सुमिर नर उत्तर ही पारा। कलियुग में केवल हरिनाम, केवल हरिनाम, केवल हरिनाम, और कोई उपाय नहीं है, नहीं है, नहीं है। किस लोग जन सनातन हरे नाम, हरे नाम, हरे
So,
नाम ही
in
केवलम
Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam,
नस्तेव गतिरन्नथा।
not just the name
नाम
and Kirtan,
परम
then the
विजय
form, then
संग
qualities, then leelas,
ये नाम केवल
and
नाम।
then remembering all these
उसके बाद
Rup Gun Leela,
गुण
Kirtan of all these things, like
हाँ
Krishna's name and
करण
Krishna's form,
क्या है? सॉरी
though it's Maha Mantra, it is the topmost. Sanatana Goswami said, Shri
कीर्तन
Krishna Gopal Hare Mukunda, Govinda He Nanda Kishore Krishna.
ये
Shri
सर्वश्रेष्ठ।
Krishna Gopal Hare Mukunda, Govinda He Nanda Kishore Krishna. I'm
बोलो
really sorry. How did I go back?
वीरद भागवतामृत में आखिरी बता रहा हूँ। हाँ हाँ बोलो बोलो। श्री कृष्ण गोपाल हरे मुकुंद गोविंद हे नंद किशोर कृष्ण हा श्री यशोदा तनय प्रसीद।
Sanatana Goswami Pad has given all the rasas in this Kirtan, Shri Krishna Gopal Hare Mukunda, Govinda He Nanda Kishore Krishna.
सनातन गोस्वामी
This is the Kirtan of Sri Nam. Then Rupa, the form,
क्या है?
the many forms of Krishna. One is
फिर रूप
in Bhagavatam,
की बहुत प्रकार
the
के हैं।
many forms of Krishna mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. At three places Krishna's form is being mentioned. One is
होने पर भी
the Yajnik Patnis, when they saw Krishna.
एक है याज्ञिक पत्नी के द्वारा, बोलो हाँ हाँ कहीं से ना बोलो सैम,
Varahapidam Tavarapakakardakarnika.
बोलो
Brahmaji spoke also in glorification of Krishna. Nomid Abhavapishi.
ब्रह्मा बिनु मुखस्थ আছে, বলো স্যাম, আমি বলে বলো স্যাম, তুমি দেখো বলছো এর কথা না বলে দিন, ওই তো প্রথম বলে দিছে, আর বলো, ওই তো প্রথম বলে দিল, আবার প্রথমটা বলে দাও। উসে তড়িদম্বরায় গুঞ্জাবতংস
Dakshan
পরিপিত
Shri Mridupade Pashupankajaya.
যে কবল বেত্র বিষান বেনু লক্ষ্মী
Gopis have also sung the,
অঙ্গজায়
the, the glories of Krishna. So when Krishna went to the forest, at that particular time, Gopis entered that place where Krishna was cow grazing through
ভাব নেত্র
through
সবু
the transport of their moods. They transported themselves there.
আয়া বলো ওখানে আর শব্দ নাই, আর আর এসব আর লেখা নাই।
Idam Natavara Karnika Vitratabhasu
বর বপু
Vaijan Samalam
কর্ণিকা
Andhram
বাস কনক কপিসম
Rupavrindi
মালম
Dharam
গন্ধান বেনু রধবস
Ram Shakti Takirti.
বৃন্দই বৃন্দারণ্য
First by the Yagyapatnis, the
প্রাবিশ
Yagyapatnis, the Brahmins' wives, they sang when Krishna, when he went to the forest, cow grazing. Then
जब
the
कृष्ण
prasad,
चरण में गए
then the,
जो
so whenever Krishna go to the forest, the sakhas would tell at which place they would go, so that lunch would arrive on time at the right place. So mothers would send the servants, and the servants would carry all the prasad,
के द्वारा
at a particular place.
भिजवा देती।
So what they would do, they would actually place it, tie it on the branches of the tree, but then they ended up at a different site today, and no one knew where to send the prasad. So Sakhas were feeling very hungry. So Sakhas were sent by Krishna to ask from the Brahmins, but Brahmins said, no, we don't want to give it to you.
जो
So Sakhas became a bit upset. He said, we're hungry. But
अब
Krishna
क्या
said that,
उन लोग का मन खट्टा हो गया।
a person who is asking should not feel,
मांगने वाले
when anyone goes to beg alms, one should not feel bad if one is
क्या
being
है,
given beg alms or not.
करेगा।
Earlierly, when we used to go,
हम लोग को जब भिक्षा में जाते हैं,
people used to say a lot of bad things also. They would say, why is it that you come back every year? Nowadays it's very easy to beg alms. But then they also used to say bad words to us when we used to go to beg alms. Why do we go to beg alms in preaching? So that our preaching, oh, I'm from a rich family, I'm from aristocratic family, I'm such a big,
मैं
I used to work so nicely. Now when one goes to begging, then all the false ego, those
जो तुमसे
those who are very low from one's beauty, one's money, and
में भी
one's education,
जो
even then when you would hear these bad words from them, then what's going to happen? Then you would your false ego would be removed. So
तुम
Krishna's teaching that
करने नहीं
that you
चाहिए।
have to go and preach, and then when you have to go and beg alms, that
वचन
false ego would not work.
और
And
परिवर्तन
another instruction he says that
किया है,
you have to try over and over again. So Krishna sent the sakhas to the women of
क्या है
the Yagyapatnis. So, men generally would not go bhiksha, but then the women would generally do so. Then when Sakhas came back to Krishna, Krishna again sent them back to the women. So when we go to the house of Gopal, you know, we say to the house of Gopal Babu,
हम जाते गोपाल गोपाल
you
को
know,
प्रणाम करें
many
करें
men also have soft heart, but generally it is seen that men have
सब
much
लोग
more softer heart, as Krishna says,
ये पुरुषों का भी बहुत
you know,
लेकिन माताओं का
that
हृदय
who is the master of the universe, he is telling that at that particular time, the Yajna Patnis,
हमसे प्रलय
the Brahman Patnis, when they heard that Sakhas have come and Krishna is nearby, so all whatever they prepared for the offering
सुनी
for the Lord, and they picked all that up, placed those big plates on their heads. Then earlierly when we came here, earlierly earlierly when we came here, everybody would say in Braj that, oh, these Bengalis eat so much of rice. Well, Krishna himself would eat so much of rice. Otherwise, why would the place called Bhat roll? Bhat means rice. All this is mentioned that how Lord was eating rice and yogurt.
साथ
Well,
प्रीति
if
वर्णन है कैसे
well, because
यदि बंगाली
ye-
लोग
ye- be-
पेट भात
be- because these Brajvasis they did not feed him
खाने के
enough rice. Jokingly, so Lord went to Bengal. Lord went to Bengal to become Sriman Mahaprabhu. Jokingly,
चचा को समझ में आया
he,
कुछ
he's every time you say that you forget everything, but then every time I see that you remember everything. So the husbands of the Yajnapatnis, they were trying to obstruct all of them not to go to give this offering to Krishna. But then when they saw Krishna, and then they saw Krishna, they were doing the arati and they were singing this beautiful shloka
आरती
from
श्याम
Srimad Bhagavatam.
जीवनमाल्य बरह धातु प्रबल नटवे समनुव्रतांसे विन्यस्त हस्तमितरेण धुनानमब्जम
Shamam Hiranya Paridhi. Hiranya Paridhi means he's wearing pitambar, the yellow cloth, which is like the lightning
हिरण्यपरि सोने के
of
अंबर
lightning in the clouds.
माला पहनाया
Dhatu Pravala.
सखा लोग जो माला गुथ करके वन में पहनाया
And then
धातु प्रबल
Krishna was wearing different minerals, and he's
चलो
like a natwar.
हल्का कर
Minerals were applied on his body, and
धातु
then all the sakhas like following him.
देश बना दिया अनुव्रतांग से और उनके और पीछे सखा लोग हैं
So in his hands, he's twirling a lotus flower as if he's churning the hearts.
क्या है हाथ में कमल ऐसे घुमा रहे हैं
So in his ear, you have blue flowers as earrings,
उत्पल अक्षर क्या है नील
and there's a
कमल
very gentle smile on his face.
और
It's mentioned in the 10.23.22. So
ब्रह्मा
Brahmaji and other shloka we'll discuss tomorrow.
और
Hare Krishna.
काल करेंगे आज यहीं तक रहे हरे कृष्ण गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल